Welcome to Santa Barbara's Soapbox. My name's Eric Davis, Executive Director of TV Santa Barbara, and we have a fascinating conversation for you today. I'd like to welcome in Don Croft. Welcome, Don.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's exciting. So you've got a fascinating story. You have, well, I'll let you explain it. You're working to support Shelterbox, which is a fantastic organization, and you've taken to the road to raise awareness and money.
Exactly that. And Shelterbox is based right here in Santa Barbara.
Yes.
And my idea was to drive my 1953 Chevy pickup truck, a vintage truck, down a vintage highway, Route 66, which will be 100 years old next year, and raise awareness for Shelterbox as well as raise money, like you say, for Shelterbox. So this is 2025. It is the 25th anniversary of Shelterbox. I set a goal of $25,000. Get it? So that was the whole concept there. And I'm driving 2,500 miles.
So a lot of 25s.
A lot of 25s.
So how do you conceive of something like this?
I don't. I woke up one morning and I was thinking about it, and then I thought, no, I don't want to do this again. And by again, I mean 2.5 years ago, I drove the same truck on another vintage highway from my old Rotary Club in Naples, Florida, to my hometown of Evanston, Illinois, where Rotary International headquarters is. And Rotary International and Shelterbox have had an affiliation with each other for the last 25 years, because Shelterbox was started by Rotarians in England. Wow. So that was my thinking. And I thought, well, maybe I should do Route 66, and I put it out of my head. And then someone at Shelterbox said, well, why don't you do that? Why don't you drive Route 66? And I thought, I don't want to do this again, but they were very convincing, and so I did it. So and I made it. I'm here.
You made it.
Right. I know Santa Barbara is not on Route 66, so it's not like I got lost and came here, but Shelterbox was here.
We're going to get into some, I'm sure there's going to be some great stories along the way of the challenges, but let's start at the beginning. You're a Rotarian from Chicago?
From Chicago, from the Evanston Lighthouse Rotary Club, because Evanston is on Lake Michigan and we have a lighthouse. Mm-hmm. So that's where the name comes from. And as I said, Evanston is the headquarters, the international headquarters for Rotary. So our club actually meets in their headquarters building.
And I had this written down. Let's talk about your start date. October 14th.
15, but close enough.
Okay, you take off in this old car. What is this? 1953?
Yeah, 1953 Chevy pickup. It's been updated, so I'm not driving original equipment. If you've got people who are watching you and saying, well, how did they do that in that old Flathead 6? I'm not. It's got a 1979 Corvette engine in it, so it'll make the hills.
And you chose Route 66. I mean, that's a historic drive.
Yes, it starts in Chicago.
It does.
Yeah, right across the street from Chicago's Art Institute, and it goes all the way to Santa Monica.
And how many miles are you doing a day?
It's more hours than miles. Okay. I don't like to drive more than 3.5, 4 hours a day. Yeah. So when you look at your GPS and it says it's going to take 2.5 hours to drive somewhere, it's probably going to take me twice as long.
Yeah. And you don't have any music in this car?
No, the engine is my music.
Just hearing it purr across the...
Yeah, or you also hear any problem that you may suspect in there. So we tried to listen to music. It's a little distracting because it drives a bit like a kiddie car. Mm-hmm. So you're always doing this, and you have to look at the road, and you have to make sure you're not going to hit a pothole or something like that, because anything can pop off. And it has.
Is this your car?
This is my car.
Okay. So I've driven the route before. I'm more on the western side, and I mean, there's a lot of danger out there. I mean, abandoned cities and twists and turns.
We get off the road to go on old Route 66 in a number of the places, and almost consistently and sadly, when you get on old Route 66, so we drive a lot on Route 40, which parallels Route 66, so you could sort of see Route 66 next to you. Some parts are paved, some parts have remained unpaved even since 1926. But we'd get into some of these towns, and where the old Route 66 was, the towns are really sort of abandoned or not thriving, let's say. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of sad to see that. It'd be great if somebody would restore all that.
It made famous in some of the Cars movies. And
I was going to mention that, yeah. So I'm going to go back and watch them again. About a month ago, I was in Disneyland, and that prepped me for Radiator Springs to Route 66. They've got signs all over about Route 66. And we found out just while we were driving that Seligman, Arizona, which is on Route 66, was the model town for Radiator Springs in the Cars movie.
Oh, really? Yeah. I heard you lost a gas cap, among other things. What are some of the challenges you faced?
Yeah, the gas cap thing was just sort of stupidity. I filled the tank, I set the cap on something. It doesn't have like a little thing attached to it like you do on modern cars. So it just sort of slid off when I drove away, and I don't know where it is. So I had to jerry-rig something, or if your audience is old enough, MacGyver something, with my water bottle and a zip tie to keep it in place till I could find a gas cap. And talking about getting into towns that are not thriving, we were on Old Route 66 in Tucumcari, and there was a Napa auto parts store there, and my traveling companion, Bonnie, said, why don't we stop there? And I'm thinking, we looked all over Albuquerque for one. The regular auto parts store tried everything they had, and they didn't have anything. I said, it's unlikely. But I go in, and sure enough, they had two of them. We were back on the road again with a gas cap.
Did you buy both?
Of course I did.
What are some of the other kind of things that come up? Broken windshield, flat tires?
We didn't have any flat tires.
Yeah.
And the windshield wipers don't really work. This, with my fingers, is more efficient than the windshield wipers on the car. So that, when there was a strong wind, they sit normally flat to the cowl, but they would just blow up like that. And yeah, so that wasn't working. We did have an issue where I had checked the carburetor. Again, you have to be old enough to know what a carburetor is, because you don't see them in modern cars. And took off the top, checked it, put it back on. Thought I screwed it on tight, but this thing rattles when it goes along, and it must have bounced off somewhere. So I ended up using a bottle cap from a San Pellegrino bottle and used my Swiss Army knife to make a new nut to hold it on there. The window cranks rattled off a couple times. But you know, it's all back together again. It's here. Good, it made it to Santa Barbara.
I saw it sitting out front and took a picture with it. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's not the most comfortable vehicle in the world. It was never meant to go on a highway. That's part of the challenge here. It was really sort of a farm vehicle, and every now and then we would run into many people who would say, "Oh, my grandfather had one of those on our farm. That's what I first learned to drive." And so that's a very common story there.
Now there must be a lot of joy, or just something about being on the road. Just you in the road. Did you experience?
In a real car, yes.
Okay.
Not in this car.
You're just hanging on.
But you're really just hanging on the whole time, and you're just gripping the wheel with a death grip that you hope you make it.
So I'll ask again. Why did you do that?
This is for Shelterbox. I thought maybe this would get people's attention. Shelterbox, as you may or may not know, has just received its third Nobel Peace Prize.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It has, and we've helped 3 million people over the last 25 years. We're in 100 countries. We go in at the worst and most difficult times and situations that you can imagine, into conflict zones, into natural disaster zones. Just currently, as we're taping this thing, Hurricane Melissa has hit Jamaica, and we've got to go in right away. And we're already there. We're going to be there on Monday with supplies.
Really?
Yes, and doing assessments. That's what we do. The problem has been that nobody has heard of Shelterbox. Maybe if you're in Rotary, you've heard of it. And we even went to a Rotary Club where they hadn't heard of it. And it seemed to me that I just need to raise the profile. I want us to be as famous as the Red Cross or Doctors Without Borders or CARE, but we're not. And when you see these disasters strike, it's so nice to be able to think that I can help. I want to help. What do I do? Shelterbox is the perfect opportunity to do that, because they go in and all the other NGOs work so much better once they're there, because they get people stabilized, they bring families together, they bring them privacy. In the case of Jamaica, we will be bringing them mosquito nets, because once the hurricane passes, there's standing water, which means you can get any kind of mosquito-borne disease, waterborne disease, and we're there. We'll have water filtration kits so people can have fresh water right away. I lived in Florida for 10 years, and I know what it's like to be through a hurricane. I've been through two strong hurricanes. One's a Cat 5, Hurricane Irma, and I know how bad it can be. And I was lucky. I had a home that was relatively stable, but I couldn't move in for a month. These people are out in the open. And in the case of Jamaica, you've got a country that depends on tourism and agriculture. Those industries are destroyed when you have a heavy hurricane come through.
We know Shelterbox here in Santa Barbara. It's the home. But as you were going through, you were stopping at other Rotary clubs and spreading the word?
Yeah, that's the whole idea. I love spreading the word. I love, we're telling Rotarians for the most part about Shelterbox. Some of them know, some of them don't know, but for the most part they do know about it. But my main objective is donations.
Okay.
I'm a charity auctioneer. I am not afraid to ask for money.
So how can people at home help the cause of Shelterbox?
They can go to shelterboxusa.org, and you can make a donation right there. You might find my journey on there, and you can click on that and donate to my journey. It could be $25, it could be $25,000, or anything in between. My favorite thing that happened to me on my trip were the spontaneous donations that people made. One of the first rest stops I stopped at, a man came over and he said, "Here's $5, I see you're doing a fundraiser." And it was so wonderful. And he said, "Tell me about Shelterbox." He didn't know what it was. And it was an honor to sort of do that.
Yeah.
And then we had someone come up to us. We were at a car museum, a Route 66 car museum in Oklahoma, Elk City, Oklahoma. And a man came over and he had 5 singles. He said, "Here's a contribution for your journey. What is Shelterbox?" Gave him a brochure so that he could see what it was, and told him to shoot the QR code we have on the truck. And the other day we were in Kingman, Arizona, sitting in a diner on Route 66, which, a diner on Route 66, a bit of a trope, but a man came over. He didn't introduce himself or anything, and we were just eating our lunch. And he said, "Here's some money," and gave me $60, not knowing what it was, and started to walk out to the parking lot. And I followed him out because I wanted to give him a brochure. He saw the truck out in the parking lot. And I looked at his car, which is newer, but in way worse shape than my '53 Chevy truck. He clearly sort of lives off the grid or something, or lives out of his car. But it was such a kind donation, and right from the heart. And that meant as much or more than getting a donation from maybe a philanthropic organization that does this all the time. But this is just an individual who did it. It was really moving.
That's wonderful. So you've made it all the way here.
I did.
To Santa Barbara. We're at TV Santa Barbara. Yesterday you kind of drove through, and the city council came and said hello, gave you some recognition.
The mayor came through, or mayor came out of City Hall today and gave me a proclamation to recognize the journey, and that was extremely humbling. And I had the whole Shelterbox crew who work here, behind me. It was, it really was moving.
And how long did it take you to start from Chicago to Santa Barbara?
I started in 1926. It feels like that.
I bet.
No, we left October the 15th this year.
Yeah.
And then
said that,
just kept driving along.
Okay.
Till we got here about 2 days ago.
And you veered off a little bit, and what are we at the end of October here, October 30th?
Yeah, well, I had to go to Kansas City to go pick up my friend, so that was a veer off there, and then I came here, so this was a little off the beaten path. Tomorrow I will be, I'll be heading to Santa Monica after this. And Santa Monica is the official end of Route 66. So I'll speak to a Rotary Club there.
Great.
I will get a check Very important. And so that will be the end of the journey.
So you start in Chicago, start of Route 66. You're going to be on your way to Santa Monica, which is the official end.
That's the official end of Route 66.
And looking back, what was your favorite part of the journey?
Well, aside from the people who came up and gave from the heart, I think it's coming here to Santa Barbara. I've never been here before.
Oh, you haven't?
No, so this is all new to me, but the welcome I got from all the Shelterbox people was absolutely heartwarming and humbling.
Incredible team, incredible work. And the weather's pretty good here, too.
Yeah, it's not bad. And you kind of have a lovely view. I mean, I like this. Yes, it's absolutely gorgeous here. Now I understand why people talk about Santa Barbara.
Mm-hmm. So I had a question about how are you going to get the car back now?
I'm going to sell it. And if
you are?
Yes, and anything I make above what the car actually should be worth, if somebody makes me a generous offer, I will give that difference to Shelterbox.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So part of the money will go to Shelterbox.
And they can find that at Shelterbox USA.
I don't know if they'll find the sale there, but they're, you could get a hold of Shelterbox USA. They'll find me.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. It sounds like a wonderful trip.
Well, you're so kind to have me.
Yeah. Any other little tidbits that you'd like to share on, say, this is Santa Barbara Soapbox?
Yeah, I guess so. It goes back to what I was saying about helping people. When you turn on the news in the next few days and you see people suffering in, whether it's in Gaza or Sudan or in Jamaica, or as we did here in California during the wildfires, or the hurricanes in the Carolinas, think of Shelterbox first, please, because we do wonderful things that other organizations can't or just don't do as part of what they do. And Shelterbox really, literally checks all the boxes.
Don Croft, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your great work.
Thank you.
I'm Eric Davis. This is Santa Barbara Soapbox, and you're watching TV Santa Barbara.